Okay. So today we are going to talk about how to attract your dream clients. And this is a collaborative class that we have here today. So if anyone has any tips or tricks that you've learned over the past few weeks, months, that you would like to share with everyone else, please don't hesitate to raise your hand and share. Let's get started. First, we want to decide who we want to work with. Is there anyone here that is still working on defining their niche? Gabriela, did you want to tell us a little bit about what you're thinking about in terms of defining your niche?
I joined the program, the life coaching program. Like I had a vision that I want to learn. I want to help people to transform their life, but in the journey, I feel like I don't know in which way should I go. So feel like maybe in the spiritual part, but maybe in the financial part. So I'm still like in
Debating.
between. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough. And I know a couple of people have mentioned to me before, a few coaches, that they have more than one niche. So don't feel tied down like once you pick your niche, that's something that you have to stick with for the rest of your life coaching career. And then also, if you know what your target demographic is, some people end up doing that in reverse. So instead of defining their niche, they define who they want to work with. If they're interested in working with teens that are struggling with anxiety or struggling with their confidence, or if they're interested in working in entrepreneurs. So it's kind of backwards where they find their target demographic and then they start working on defining their niche from there.
Okay.
Yeah. So some questions that you can ask yourself to help you define your niche and what target demographic you want to work with are considering your strengths. I know Gabby mentioned finance. So if you have experience in finance, that might be something that you have to bring to the table in terms of defining your niche. Maybe your niche might be the population of executive business clients. So then you can use your experience in finance to help someone come up with plans for budgeting. And then we tend to attract the person that we're most like. So if you think about the person that you were 1 month ago, 3 years ago, and how far you've grown to be able to help someone else who is looking to grow in those same areas. Is there anybody else who has already found their niche and has any advice on tips or tricks that Gabby or anyone else could use to help them define theirs? That's okay.
I'll share.
Okay. Stacey.
I say start somewhere um, and not let it freeze you. I started with creative leadership as my niche. I moved into a personal brand coach, and now I'm adding inclusivity coach onto my personal brand niche. So, and this just happened in the past week. So I just, don't be too hard on yourself and try it out. So if something is calling you, like the magnetism is strong enough. Don't fight it. Just be in it. Because if you're stuck in that learning phase and not in experimentation, then everything is uncertain until you get in and give it a shot. I do remember in the program that Yomna had shared with us, she had changed her niche over 21 times in the course of her coaching career, which shocked me because I remember hearing that early in the program. And now where I'm at, I'm like, okay, I could see that making more sense now. We evolve as humans, our goals, our objectives, our passions evolve, and our niches can too. I also think that where I'm sitting is a niche is important, but I really like this. Who do you want to work with? Because if you really want to work with entrepreneurs, okay, you don't necessarily have to define it. And if you really want to work with Gen Z, cool. You can be a Gen Z life coach. It doesn't have to be as specific as you need. You get to call the shots. So um, allow yourself to evolve in the process and don't be too hard on yourself when you do. That means there's growth happening.
I love that. Thank you, Stacey. Allowing yourself room to be flexible and to grow instead of locking yourself in to one niche. Sheila.
So thanks for that, Stacey. I resonated with what you just said also. But Gabrielle, for me, I heard this from another coach that says I only need to be 2 or 3 steps ahead of the people that I will be coaching. And so to me, what it was is truly who do I want to work with? Who do I love spending time with? And if I'm not going to be paid at this, I will still continue to learn about it, research about it, and just hang out in this particular topic or people. And what I found out was people like me. So it's really people that are in the same journey as me. And I'm just might be a little bit ahead, not too far ahead. But the key to it is that I'm willing to be vulnerable with them so that together we co-create your intention, we co-create your goals. So we work together, we journey together in this life that you want to create. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I end up going to be working for women, definitely between 40s and 50s. And same as they said, this is maybe 2 weeks old. I'm starting to call myself abundance coach, but I'm really an abundance wellness coach. I am tapping into my industry expertise, which is in the healthcare. So therein, I will have my functional medicine. I'll have my breath work expertise in there as well. So I'm right now, unless it changes again after launch pad, I'm the abundance wellness coach for you. I hope that helps.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Sheila. And congratulations on your upcoming certifications too. That's exciting.
Mm.
Lisa.
So I share in the same space as Stacey. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to try and figure out everything right in this second because, we are always constantly evolving and there's no one way to do something. I changed my niche 3 times and I started with pressuring myself to find a niche, find something. Oh, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to work with this person, you have to can't do this, can't do that. And it was a lot of pressure. And I was like, well, I'm just going to be an everything coach. I'm going to be help everyone, be an everything coach, and I'm going to empower everybody. And I'm like, but not really, because people have to find empowerment within themselves. So how do I know that I'm going to empower somebody? Anyways, and then I thought that I was going to be this really cool thing that, was different than the rest. And I was going to call myself a failure coach. Stacey, don't say nothing about failure. um, anyways, I wanted to be this failure coach because for me, I'm a little bit opposite thinking. I really love all the things that I considered failures in my life because it brought me to where I am today. So when I started saying I was a failure coach, people were like, what's that? And I had to explain it. And first of all, I didn't really know how to explain it in the same sequence. It kind of changed every time I would give the answer and it would not make sense whatsoever. And it confused people. And I'm like, okay, no, this is not working. And then I jumped into those fish bowls. And that is where I ended up figuring out where my calling ended up being. And it happened in Rosina's fish bowls. She's no longer with us, unfortunately, but it happened in her fish bowls. And this is why when I put that into my presentation about jump into those fish bowls, throw yourself in there, throw yourselves to the walls, and just because you don't know what can come out of it. And so now my current niche where it fits really well with me as a solution oriented coach. And this goes back to where I excel in my actual job. and it aligns with everything where I can combine the two. And that is where I feel the most comfortable, where I can explain it with a lot of conviction in under 2 minutes. So that's it.
I love
That's
that.
my share.
Thank you, Lisa. Yes, it's so true. It's good to remember that we can't do everything all the time. And sometimes I feel like a lot of us are in that position where we start life coaching and we want to just help everything and be everything to everyone. But when you cast a net that's that wide, uh, you're missing that connection that comes with being specific to your different niches if you have more than one. And I like that you mentioned that you're doing the fish bowl as well, because that's an excellent exercise. And I think you have another Zoom later too, where you're doing that fishbowl exercise. So if anybody needs help, like coming up with their niche, that'll be a good call to be on. Is that today, Lisa? Later today?
Yep, 4 p.m. PST. And I just
Awesome.
sit in and I just allow everyone to just have their space, and they take over and they do their own exercise. And it's really fun to watch, actually. It's nice to see other people's growth, to be honest.
Through it. Thank you. Oh, Gabby.
I just have a quick question for everyone who wants to give some opinion or advice. What do you think about having two different niches? I mean, because I started in this program like this goal, like being like a transformational coach, but then I realized that I feel passionate about it, but at the same time I feel passionate about I just realized that I feel passionate about conscious parenting too. I want to work on both areas, but I don't know if that will be confusing to people, or how would I do that?
That's a good question, Gabby. I'll give my take on it, and then if anyone else has something to add, please feel free. Have you started doing unsupervised coaching yet?
Yes, I just started like some weeks ago.
Awesome. I know I was one of the same people as a lot of you where I was struggling pinning down my niche for the longest time. And then after I started my unsupervised coaching, one of my other coaches recommended asking for reviews from the people that I had offered coaching to. And I kept hearing the same thing like, oh, this is, the vision boards really helped me. Oh, the financial tracker really helped me. Like things that I wouldn't have necessarily expected myself that that person valued. So sometimes other people can help you find your niche that way, like where you should focus in on. I do think you can do transformational life coaching and parenting at the same time, but that's just my opinion.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. Does anybody else have anything to add before we go to the next slide? Sheila.
Just really quick to add on, I'm of opinion that the greater intention should be transformation, not to stop in the change, but to rather take it deeper into transformation. Hence, everything that we do should be a transformation. So for your niche, my gut says that it's conscious parenting, taking it all the way to the transformation of the parent.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stacey.
Sheila, I love that. I love how you did connect them, but maybe in a way that Gabby might have not seen them connected. That's really cool. When I first started here, I was ready to save the world. And I realized that we can't. There's a lot of things that I have a lot of passions for in life. And I realized that the closer I started to explore them, I would reach out to any coach that was in a similar niche and pick their brain, get in just not a session, but like I'd invite them for just a chat, and I realized that even though I was passionate about things, they didn't fill me up and energize me. So I love what Veronica said about being in these sessions and not only the feedback of these individuals, but like when you leave, what are you fueled on? What like really gets you energized? I'll make the example of I was looking into neurocomplexity coaching and neurodivergency, and especially with parents, it's very near and dear to my heart. However, the more and more I started to study it and get involved with it, I felt drained. I mean, and this is very near and dear to me. So I realized that this is something I can be an advocate for, but I don't have to coach on it. If somebody brings it to me, the door is always open for anybody and we can discuss it. However, just because something is pulling you doesn't mean that you need to make it your focus. And I do think that the key point is something Shelia said here. You are offering transformation. And this is like the slide Veronica has. Who do you want to work with? If you're like, oh, I want to help parents, those parents are going to bring everything to you anyway, not just transformation. They're going to bring relationship, money struggles, wellness issues, morning routine problems, right? Like resentment of their children. They're going to bring everything to you anyway. So I love how Veronica's taking it from this angle. Like, who do you want to spend your time with? Who do you want one-to-one with in person or on the other side of the Zoom screen? For me, I really like motivated entrepreneurs. I like creative people. I like rebels. Those are my people. So that's who I'm reaching out to. And that is two really refreshing ways to find out what your niche should be. But I put it in the chat and I'll say it again. Whatever energizes you is a good place to explore. What do you want to read at the end of the day? When you pick up a book, what are you reading about? What are the articles you're exploring? Who are the influencers you're following? Because there might be something there too.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Stacey. Was excellent advice. Yeah, to look at your passions and what you're doing outside of coaching. Like what books are you picking up? That was a really good one too. Next, after you've pinned down what group you want to work with, what demographic, and then you've defined your niche, you can focus on beginning to create a client avatar. I'm not sure how many of you have done this already, but if you're looking at going into Business Launchpad, this is something that you'll get to do there. So it's basically taking a deeper look at your client, right? Your target market, and finding out more about them. Where do they live? Where do they work? What are their salaries? Has anybody taken the time to do some research on creating a client avatar yet? Yes, Stacey. Well, what have you found while you were researching your client avatar? Did you use Google? Did you use a search engine?
I think it's a collection. Yeah, it's a collection of things. We often call our intuition like our gut, but actually your intuition is a lot of cognitive resource. It just happens really quick. So I do believe that a lot of it is learned over experiences, where your passions pull you and draw you. But for me, I fully agree all these tools are great. There's a lot of different ways you can go about this. I lead a visualization in my coaching. I've coached a lot of coaches from this program, and sometimes just sitting with yourself and shutting off all the outside noise first, connecting with yourself. Imagine yourself in a coaching session. Who comes to you? Who's in your room with you? Who's on Zoom with you? And doing this often, you'll start to reveal the kind of people that you're going to want to surround yourself by. So I say start there with self-connection before you outsource information into the ether and all the noise. Outside of that, I know what the range of prices I will eventually offer, which I'm not yet. I know what I need to make in order to support my family. And I think that starting that way is important because you'll understand your demographics as well. Now, that's a rabbit hole because one-to-one coaching is not how I'm going to get all of my finances through this. I'm going to have a lot of diversification in my offerings, but that's a good way to understand the salary of the people that you're working with is first look at what do you want to make? What type of tools, how expensive is your website? What are all the programs and education you've invested in yourself? What programs are you going to do after this program? What other type of tools do you need to be a successful coach? And then figure in how much you want to make a month or a year. And then you can see how much you're going to roughly charge. I'm talking ballpark. And then you'll know how much your clients actually make because it's if you go about it by just saying, oh, well, I want to work with people who make 100K. It's like people that make 100K will have X amount of dollars or percentage they're going to send to their or spend on wellness and helping industries. And they're not going to be able to spend more. 100K is not that much. Of course, I'm using US currency. It's not that much anymore. So having an idea first of what your needs are, having an idea of what you want to connect with in yourself before Google, before all these things, I think is important. And then you can start reaching out for external influence on that information. Hope that helps.
Thank you, Stacey. I think that's so important too. Like you mentioned looking for someone who is making 100K, but then a lot of people can fit into that demographic. Like there's so much more that goes into finding the person that is a right fit for your niche where you can help that client grow and you're a good fit for them.
Exactly. And what if they make 100K and they live in a rural area, or if they live in LA and they're living in a 300 square foot apartment for $3,000 a month? Like, it's all really relative. I can share that I will definitely appeal more to urban dwelling or urban adjacent clients personally with my energy, my vibe, and my brand voice. I know that I want people that are thought leaders, that are rebels in their industry and change makers. So that really helps me understand and start to carve out my avatar. But I digress. First, start with your connection to yourself. If you haven't tried it, if you haven't tried meditating on it or sitting with a visualization, try to imagine yourself with your client, because it might reveal a lot more than you give yourself credit for. You might have those answers right inside of you without looking out to the internet first.
Thank you, Stacey. Lisa.
Well, I know why we align now. The rebel thing. Okay, I don't know how many people have done the client avatar or have heard of the client avatar or have done it yet. I did do it and somehow I ended up posting the wrong one. But I actually had a problem with some of this client avatar thing. So I'm a huge believer in the power of manifestation, and I believe that what you put out there is what comes back to you. So I had a little bit of a problem trying to, put something into this thing, I guess you could say, and try to define every single little area of what I think this perfect client should be. So going back according to my niche, right, is very like solution orientated, is like fast forward. But I took on a client last night that's suffering from depression. So he'll be like working with a therapist, but in alignment with coaching. So to create this client avatar, it's a great tool, I think, if you want to try to get something onto paper. But I don't, for myself, and it's only for myself, I can't definitively put something in there because of that manifestation. And I don't want to throw out something into the universe that's going to return something to me that I don't actually truly want, if that makes any sense.
That does make sense. I think different marketing tools work well for different coaching styles. I know creating a client avatar was really beneficial for me, especially being in a social media space where I had my net cast so wide. Instead of focusing on my different avatars, when I make an advertisement now, I look at who I'm talking to. And there's that connection there because I'm being specific as to opposed to before where I would just maybe talking to too many people and no one felt that personal connection that I was speaking to them and their problems that they needed to have solved. Sheila. Oh, sorry, Lisa.
No, it's okay.
I was just going to add on. So I made it a little easier for me because it's who I'm looking at the mirror. That's the clientele that I am resonating with. So I know your pain point. I know your capacity to afford my services. So I got that sorted out of the way. But what I really, really wanted to share is actually what you were talking about, Lisa. that I needed to make sure I know what my intention is. And before I can make my intention, I needed to make sure that I am activating my growth container. And for me, there's two big things that I needed to do. I need to unlock my power centers from my feminine energy side of things, where I can break through from shame. So once, because there's a lot of like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't ask that much. Ooh, I don't deserve that much. That kind of feeling. It's predominant for women. We also want to break through from, I want to break through from the feeling of lack, because that makes me feel insufficient. Maybe I should just lower my price down, a little bit, those kind of things. So why those two things I need to break through from is because once I'm out of the shame, I can go into those growth container that even I right now in my conscious level is not capable of imagining. So I'm tapping into that world that is far more greater than what we have and what we can comprehend. And for this lack, I need to really connect into my higher being. So then once I go through those exercises, then just start surrendering it to the universe. And I am at the bit of believer that I surrender, it will be given to me when I'm vibrating in that energy level. And there will be no harm to me. It's not bad. It's not good. It's what I am vibrating with at that time. That was it.
Thank you, Sheila. Beautiful. So I did want to share with you guys some tools that I use to help me create my client avatars, just so you have them. I'm not sure, has anyone used Chat GPT before? Yes. Okay, that's good. So has anyone not used Chat GPT before? GPT, Charlene. Okay, so we'll go through that really quickly. The price point is fairly low, but something that I always like to say to some of my coaches, and then I repeat it continually to myself, is some things are going to cost money that help you grow your business. But at the end of the day, if you feel uncomfortable investing in yourself, you're going to attract clients that are uncomfortable investing in with you and investing in themselves. So you can choose what ways that you want to go about investing in yourself. Sometimes you don't have to put like a high price ticket on it, but just making sure that we're continually educating ourselves so that we can serve our clients best. So for Chat GPT, I'll give you an example, one that I have saved. So let's say if you are a business life coach and you need to find a client avatar for that. You'll search in ChatGPT and it will generate for you characteristics of your client avatar. And then if you were to say, okay, like Stacey had mentioned before, looking inside yourself and seeing what clients will resonate the best with you, who you want to work with, then you can define what kind of salary that you need to do coaching full time if that's something that you're interested in, or doing coaching part time. And then from there, you're going to know how much your clients need to earn, how much you want to charge them. So if you were to say marketing strategy, if I can spell, to earn 10K monthly as a life coach. And then it will give you ideas that can help you grow your business. So that's one of the tools that I use. And then I also use Mastermind that's affiliated with Tony Robbins. It's a little bit of a higher price point, but if you guys come up with any tools that you want to add in the chat or raise your hand and talk with us about, that would be great too. Lisa says that oh, thank you so much, Lisa. She might be gone already, but yeah, she had to go. So for the next slide, we have identifying the problems, you're solving and how to solve them. So if you think about your target demographic, what are some of the issues that your clients are dealing with? Does anyone want to share? I can start first. Some of the issues that my clients deal with, I am a career life coach. So I focus on working with other personal growth and development professionals who are in the mental health and wellness space. So I work with therapists, mentors, other life coaches, and women who are interested in becoming entrepreneurs. So some of the issues that people in my target demographic suffer from are confidence. They want to start their own business, but they're not sure how to go about it. Or they're not confident enough to start talking with other people and marketing for their business, or they're working on managing their finances. So I take those issues and then that's how I market to my clients. I let them know, hey, if you're suffering um, from anxiety or you're having issues dealing with managing your finances, you can come to me for coaching and know that it's a safe space where you're not going to be judged for that. We can create a financial plan, a budget plan together that works for you. So, and then why haven't they been able to solve those issues on their own? And researching tools necessary to help them solve those problems. Does anyone have, oh, Stacey, perfect.
For myself, I help thought leaders become more visible, valuable, and connected so they can do more of what they love. So I'm helping people that are in the facilitator, influence, entrepreneur space that can't define their voice, or maybe they've defined their voice and they don't know how to get their voice out there, or how to connect to the highest capacity to make sure they're in their flow state and move forward. So actually, I coach on niche all the time, and I coach on a lot of the things that we're talking about here. And in addition, I'm adding inclusivity, meaning that I'm looking to help people in the helping profession, specifically coaches, understand diversity, equity, and inclusion in that space, and what it feels like to be experiencing unconscious bias as a coach in the coaching space, which I've come across quite a bit in this program. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. We all have it for many different reasons. So that's what I'm looking at providing for my clients. Oftentimes, people are just really unsure of their own identity and connection to self. And that's where a lot of the problems begin. To be honest, I think that that's the root of a lot of our niches, is that people are disconnected from themselves, which is making connection to other relationships with other individuals or either other things in their lives very hard because they've lost a connection to self. So what I've seen is mostly these issues of a lack of confidence, a lack of uncertainty, and then really trying to simplify things to kind of quiet the outside noise, get people connected with themselves so they hear themselves first, and then they learn how to be their authentic selves in business, on social media, in the digital space, in the non-digital space, and what that looks like. So the tools I'm developing every day, every client, I come up with new things that work, but I use a lot of visualization in my coaching, which a lot of people are shocked to find out. I use meditation because to me, that's where all the answers have been for with myself. Once I quiet the world, I have all the answers inside. And as far as other tools, I have a lot of really cool brand building exercises that are fun and interactive that I do live in session. And my unique skills, I mean, I've been a leader and an educator for many years and a communicator. I have a marketing and branding background in addition to being an artist. So I bring a lot of creativity to this space, and offering creativity to my clients is also the solution for a lot of their problems, their stuckness and uncertainty. So that's how I bring my own like unique vibe and energy to my coaching space.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Stacey. Do you have classes that you teach on other platforms or even with the Cuckoo with Stacey or on Eventbrite?
I'm starting actually, and this is all pretty new. I'm in cohort 6, so I just completed my exam. I'm in Launchpad, about to complete that. And where I'm starting next is with a colleague of mine in the program. We have a project that we're getting kicked off first before I make my own unique stamp as a coach online. So my first project is something a little bit different. It's a side project instead of going loud on myself. But I am looking to start an on-brand series for coaches, meaning anything that's your pain point about branding or getting your voice out there. I'm looking to help people work through. I think a lot of times we as coaches need to try things and we are afraid to try them with clients, which is why I like having these connections with all of you because it feels really safe. We can say what we need to say, we can try things here. I led a beta test about 2 weeks ago with a few other coaches. We did a visualization exercise where every coach brought a visualization to the group and tried it out. And then we all gave feedback, and it was really fruitful. So I'm looking to be able to provide that, and I'm sure that Lisa will be able to get that information out to any of you that are interested. Thank you, Veronica, for letting me speak on that here. I can tell you are another champion of shining lights on other people, as I am as well. I see you. Thank you.
Oh, ditto. Thank you, Stacey. Yes, I will ask. I'll have to ask Lisa to post that in Overcoming the Cuckoo so we can all come check you out.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Charlene.
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Charlene. So I haven't joined it in the past. I don't know, a couple sessions because I somehow I didn't get the information. I wasn't joined the group. I just recently joined. So thank you so much for you guys sharing all of the valuable lessons and your experience. And I became curious. So how do you create authenticity for yourself?
You asked, how do you create authenticity for yourself as a life coach? I think
Yes.
I think it starts with doing a lot of inner work, and you have to start to care a little bit less about what other people think. So I continuously put myself in situations that make me feel uncomfortable. If I have like, and it starts small, like if I'm going out of the house and I'm like, oh, that scarf, I know you really love that scarf, but it doesn't really go with your outfit, or the shoes don't really go with your pants, and then wearing it anyway, right? Or like even with my hair, I'm like, oh, blonde is so cool, but I'm not a natural blonde. Maybe I shouldn't. And I'm like, oh, does that make you uncomfortable? Because you're worried about what other people are going to think. Do it anyway. Because then when you're looking at something that you're passionate about and living your purpose, you can start to step into that without worrying about what other people think. And when you start living your life like that, you attract people who are also authentic and they're going to support you being your true self.
Okay, thank
It's
you.
internal more than external, if that makes sense.
So it's more like an internal alignment in a way to whatever we do outside.
Yes. Like and the inside lends itself to the way that we behave on the outside. But yep, how do you treat people? How do you treat yourself when no one's watching? So they say, I had one of my coaches and he's told me, he's like, how do we gain confidence, Veronica? And I'm
Thank you.
thinking about it, trying to come up with some kind of deep answer that I think he's looking for. And he says, we gain confidence by keeping the commitments that we make to ourselves. And so I tried to do that.
I think sometimes most of us, we feel a bit struggle with being truthful to ourselves. So if we have a clients that really struggle of being truthful and it's just a bit more like on the trying to please other people side of it, how what would be the step that we could helping them to see that and being
Truthful with them.
to whatever they are doing?
I'll I'll give my take on that, and then if anyone else has something to add, please feel free to add. I feel like a lot of clients that I've run into where we have our first couple of sessions and you see some like incongruency or like disalignment with the stories that they're telling you, maybe that they're telling themselves, and to ask myself why they're showing up this way,
Mm,
because like ultimately I feel like that inauthenticity and dishonesty with ourselves stems from fear that we
mm,
can't be honest, right? Because we're going to be judged for it. So
mm,
when you allow your clients to show up and let them know that it's a safe space, I know Lisa talks about this a lot. Like even in the beginning of our session, she would always start with, "This is a safe space." And then complimenting them on what they do well to help them build that confidence and security.
good. Thank you.
Of course. Stacey.
I think it comes down to unconscious and conscious living. And oftentimes we're all in this space where we just are reactive and we go and
Mm,
we're conditioned and our wiring is a certain way. And that is not a small task. That's not something that happens in even a whole coaching program. That can be a lifetime of work. So the acknowledgement that why all of us have these struggles and our clients too as well is the unconscious versus the conscious state. Our bodies lead us, our minds lead us to places without us knowing, and they're there for a good reason. So the acknowledgement of the unconscious state, and sometimes, having people that are arrived to the coaching space that are aware of it and actually can name it is like a huge benefit as a coach. But a lot of people haven't done that work to honor why our bodies and our minds take us to the places they do, even the places of fear or being stuck and uncertain. So unconscious acceptance and then really figuring out what those things are that we're experiencing and honoring them, I think is so important before we can all move to the conscious living state. But it's the work is never done, because as soon as we figure something out, something else is going to come up as well. Especially as a mother, I see that with my children. Things I thought weren't a problem, all of a sudden I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Now I need to reparent this about myself. And I think that just being gentle with people and giving them the language of unconscious versus conscious living. So how to get ourselves in that space, because we can't be authentic and we can't create if we're on autopilot working in an unconscious state.
Thank you, Stacey. Sheila.
All I'm going to add is that I do feel that we are awakening as a whole species. So all of these little nug in our consciousness, in our body, and in our clients, it's all because of this. We are being, prompted to awaken our souls, to align ourselves. And all I'm going to also add is that try as much as we can to get out of our head. This is what
mm,
Steph is talking about. Get inside our body. So whatever it is that the client can do to quieten down that monkey, do that. It could be exercise, get those cortisol going. Could be the visualization, the meditation, or even just silence. Just honor that space. Acknowledge that yes, something is going on. It's beautiful that you're even feeling it, and it's the start of that new journey. To me, it's amazing when a client comes to me like that. It was like, "Ooh, you're about to break through on something here.
Yes.
Let's get going." But yeah, just
Yeah.
quieten down.
Thank you, Sheila.
thank you, everyone, for sharing. Appreciate that.
Yes. Thank you all for like chiming in and sharing with each other. It's a good time, right, where we can learn and grow together. Um, the next slide is becoming your dream coach. So, if we're to put ourselves in the shoes of the client, how would you want yourself to show up, right? Maybe for that version of you that was alive 5 years ago that existed back then. So if you guys would indulge me and close your eyes for a minute and imagine yourself in the future, 5 years from now. Who are the clients that you're working with? What do they say after they've had sessions with you? What are the breakthroughs that they're having in their life? And then think about you as a person, as a professional, as a mom, as a friend. How's your confidence in this ideal version of yourself, the future you that's coming? How do you talk to other people? How do you talk to yourself and love yourself with your words, with the food that you eat, with the relationships that you have with other people? And if you can reach up into the heavens and grab it because it's waiting for you, you can open your eyes if you like. Yeah. Does anyone feel comfortable sharing a little bit about that future version of themselves, that future coach? I'll share a little. Oh, go ahead, Stacey.
I'm ready, but Veronica, why don't you go first? I'd love to hear.
Okay. I am working with other people in the mental health and wellness space and hearing them tell me stories about how they have changed the lives of the people that they work with. I'm doing lots of pro bono work and service work that helps light other people up inside and recognize their potential. And the money's just there. And I can't believe it's there because the changes that I'm making are enough. But the money allows my dream job in serving others to be my full-time job. Stacey?
Thank you for sharing. I love that. I can feel your passion is palpable, Veronica. Thank you. I love how you flipped the script on us and asked us about being a dream coach. This is something unexpected out of today. So thank you. I love to be delighted and surprised by a creative moment, because it would make sense that we have to be our own dream coach before we get our dream client. So thank you. It's such a, I really, it's a treat. I feel like I just got a gift from you. So thank you. It's cool how just in a minute and a half, I created this version of myself and it feels so much more attainable. And I hope that everyone agrees with me in the power of visualization and to do it more often with clients, because now I see myself in a state of calm, regulated power in the future, which to me, if you ask me my version of success, it comes down to regulation. I've lived in many different careers and lives where I was dysregulated, and that's not success. Success to me is being healthy and sleeping well and living in my passion and showing up for the people in my life, not just as my coachees. So I see a regulated individual with good posture and good sleep patterns and working with the people that energize me. A lot of creative individuals around me, making a difference in the DEI space so that children growing up now have a safer world to live in, and that anybody, regardless of their age groups, children or adults, can live into their truth and not walk around with bias on their back and carrying that everywhere. I can see it. I see everybody thriving, and I'm going to carry that vision with me today. So thank you, Veronica. What a gift you just gave us.
Thank you, Stacey. Sheila.
Mine is super quick. What I've been working on in the last few weeks, I'm a big proponent of breath work, visualization, meditation as well. And in one of these is my realization that I do not need a better version of me. Rather, I need to embrace the true me. So I'm in that path of truly embracing who I am, my birthright. And that's the dream coach that I've realized I have been showing up to the others in bits and pieces. Now I just need to claim that entire me. And it's truly the realization that we are here for a purpose, each one of us. And we just need to wake up and feel that person inside of us and just claim this beautiful birthright.
Thank you, Sheila. Yes. Charlene.
Yes, I thank you for sharing. For me, I think the word for me that it came up during that 1 minute of thinking of how, what is being a dream coach looks like. It would be a reset of my own mind, of my own physicals and the personal growth. How do I want to take what I'm having right now and reset it to make it operated from a different energy or a higher source of power? In the past, I've been operating using a lot of ego. And now I came to realize it's about like years ago that this is exhausted for me. And I'm looking for something else. It's more enjoyable and more at ease in a way. That's when I looked inwards and then trying to connect of who I am. During that quest of search, larger than I am. And which I have to start it with the self-love and compassion towards myself in order for me to really first help myself in order for me to do the things that I wanted to do. Just want to share that going on the future in the short term, I would do a lot of pro bono work for the peoples, and I have connected to my people's, which is Cambodians community. I'm from Cambodia. Yeah, within
Thank
the
you.
community, we don't have much knowledge or really give any value of being a life coach. So that's a lot of work that I need to be doing. But I do see the hope and listens to everyone's. I'm trying to find my way. That's what I'm trying to say. So, yeah.
Thank you, Charlene.
Thank you.
Gabby.
Well, I want to start saying that this visualization was like powerful to me because, as I mentioned earlier, I was like, I don't know what niche should I choose. But just with this visualization, I just felt like my passion right now it's help other parents to give to become conscious the way they are treating their child, they are raising their child, because the children are the future. So in the way that we are behaving in front of them, the things that we are teaching them, the way they are that we are treating them will like build the next generation. And I am living this with my son. I have a 2-year-old son, and I am just seeing that everything that I do, everything that I say, it's building everything that he knows. And I don't know how to explain it, but I just feel like this is what I have to do.
Thank you,
Yes.
Gabby. What a powerful group of women. I loved like different parts of everything that each of you had to say with Stacey, and you saying that you closed your eyes and you could see it, right? That version of yourself in the future. And Sheila with the loving yourself as you are today, right? Well, we're on that journey to becoming that future self. And then Charlene with finding your way and starting with service. So much I feel of that connection with the universe or with God for me, because I'm a Christian, but it starts with service, right? That's part of what we're doing here with life coaching is serving others. And then Gabby, with finding your passion in parenting, working with other parents and helping them raise the children, which are going to be the future generations. Awesome. Thank you all. Okay, so the next slide is about valuing yourself. We hold the keys to the house, the car, the vision, sometimes for a lot of our clients, or we pick them up and we let the client be able to reach out and grab that for themselves where they might not have seen it before. To not underestimate your potential and allow someone else to miss out on theirs because you haven't taken the time to value yourself. You attract who you are, right? So I just wanted to ask you guys, in your opinion, why is it important to value yourself? I can start first with this one, yes. So when I first started life coaching, I found myself wanting to give away everything. I'm like, oh, I just want to cater to everyone. I just want to serve everyone. And so everything was free. I was at a point where I had a couple of people come to me for life coaching services and they asked me how much I charged and I said, "Oh, it's free." Because I couldn't attach any value to myself. And if you can't do that, you end up attracting other people to you, sometimes that aren't going to value your services. They're not going to be willing to pay for coaching, or they're not going to want to pay that much for coaching. And what happens if you can value yourself and your services and put a price tag to your services that allows people who come to you for coaching to take that investment in you and in themselves seriously, you're both going to be rewarded for it because it changes the way that you show up because they've paid X amount for your services and you know your worth. It's going to change the way that they show up because they believe in themselves. They're investing in themselves. Stacey.
100%, Veronica. Just to add to that, I think that I've been there in my life where I've given way too much of myself, and what what happens then is obviously you have nothing to give. So I know that if I am regulated, if I have been feeding myself the right foods, if I've meditated, if I've taken time for myself, if I don't feel touched out, tapped out, I lead a very beautiful coaching session. If I'm not in that state, I do not. It does not matter about the education, the skills, the competencies. To me, that's like the entry price for doing good business. We all know how to do that. We're all here doing that already. The difference is valuing yourself to show up full for other people. So not only you can't expect other people to live that if you are not living that yourself, but how can you reach your highest state as a coach? It's by filling your own cup. That's when everything falls into place. And it sounds so simple, but it's like a full, that's a full webinar or, an entire course right there. But I also think the last thing I'll add is I think it helps with decisiveness too. So it allows you to put up boundaries to protect yourself from what drains you. And then it allows you to be in spaces and with people that feed you and energize you. And it helps you make decisions quickly and with confidence instead of living in a state of uncertainty, which, then allows you to keep the flow state going because we're not always going to make decisions that end up being right or wrong. I don't believe in right or wrong, but that flow you into the right direction. Sometimes we hit a wall But at least if you're able to be like, no, I spot it, I know what I need to do, I'm going to keep moving forward. So I think value is not just showing up for your client in a way of kind of quiet leadership, but also being able to make boundaries and decisions for yourself to protect your own energy.
Thank you, Stacey. Shelia.
So, if I may, I'm taking us back to my journey. So, I have come from a helping industry. So, it was natural. All this helping and giving yourself is natural from that. The difference is it's a regulated industry. I don't have to put a price point to my service. I just have to work that industry and be able to elevate myself. So that's the difference. So when I came over to the coaching world, I had such a difficulty in putting a value, but not because I devalued myself. It's much more of how do I put a value and ask a payment from my own self? Because we are all part of the collective one. To me, it was like I'm stealing money from myself to give to myself. We are one. Why should we be asking money from each other? So then initially I was going to do my service as part of an ecology of gifts where I will have no price points. I will just ask you in your truest sense how much you would like to give me as an exchange of the services that I would give you. And that has been my plan all along up until I got another breakthrough in myself, which was, hang on, you did say we are one, we're the collective one. Don't we feel better if we give and we receive? So then it went into the opposite end for me. It's like, so if I'm giving myself gifts, I actually would treasure that far more. So now it went to my initial one that I was talking about at the beginning of our sessions. Like, what is my intention? And with my intention, I am bringing the collective other women, the women that have spouses, the women that have children, sisters, grandmothers, and everybody else. When you rise women, they elevate other people as well. I'm just biased about women there. So, but says to me now, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to give because you're also giving it to your collective you. That's it.
Thank you, Shelia. Charlene.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I'm sorry, my internet is really bad today.
It's okay.
Okay, yeah. For me, on the value of myself, I'm really greatly struggling with that. I got a couple breakthrough on, how to ask or how to value myself. Although I understood that around this world, we evolving with all of these value creations for everyone else. But somehow, I guess it's because of the way that we raise it, the way that I'm growing up. It's just like asking for help or asking for something. It's so difficult to do so. How to ask people to really give you something in return in terms of money to value your service, it's quite in the opposite sense of my
Service.
ethic. Yeah, the service and the type I wanted to provide. I'm now doing this coaching practice and a couple of my clients asking, we reach 5 sessions together. And what you're gonna do next if I want to continue the service with you. And then I was just like, the first thing that popped into my mind, and that's what has been, I have been thinking all along, I was just like, I work based on the donations in a way. So I have reached out to some of my friends who also in Cambodians and hear that they do have like a nonprofit organization. So all the service that I do, I've been directed my clients to, if you would like to, give a values to my service and everything's here, you can do some donations. How do you feel that you would value the service that I provide to the charities, to the nonprofit organizations? And I'm still sitting this idea, how can I put the the price tags on the value that I put in the future. So there are many steps for me to still need to discover myself and to learn more, because as like Sheila said, if you allow yourself, to enjoy the gift that you've given to yourself, that it's so much more powerful, right? And it just like Stacey said, you cannot operate it from an empty cup. Yeah, so it's just still another work for me. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Charlene.
You're welcome.
I'll add my 2 cents onto that, and then if anyone else wants to chime in before we go to our last slide. But something that I did to help myself with overcoming insecurity around mentioning my prices is recognizing that we're in that perfect space for that, where you have a lot of people came into this program not having experienced life coaching before as a coachee. So you have all of these people in the program where you can get a life coach for free with someone who's experienced in like helping you build your confidence, helping you to market yourself, being comfortable practicing advertising your price points so you can practice with other coaches. That's what I've done with a couple of friends from the program where I talk to them about what I'm doing. We have a mock discovery call and I give them my price. So like I had one woman I was working with the other day, and she's like, "Oh, I'm $2,000. I charge $2,000 for 6 sessions at the end of it." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cheap. Why is it so cheap? I want to sign up today." And just like playing with it to get that confidence level up. And then also affirmations in the mirror. I am loving. I am loved. I am confident. I'm worthy. I am strong. I have community. I can do this. You can do this. Charlene, Stacey, Sheila, Gabby. I'm not sure who PS is, but sending you guys so many blessings and love and confidence, right? We're all here together. But yes, you've got this. You do not have to do everything yourself. We are stronger together. But if you look around the people that you've met through the course of this program, if you take the time, those are the relationships that can be with you for the rest of your life. Personal, professional relationships, healthy relationships that are going to help you to continue to grow as a person and in your business. Believe and commit to yourself. Research, learn, grow, and excel. And then you guys can disregard the bottom of the slide. I'm doing this with you guys for free, but I'm also doing it on another platform. So that's what that is. But thank you guys for coming today. Oh, thank you, Stacey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Veronica.
Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
Veronica. You really brought us a treat today and brought us to a nice, warm, loving space. I know I'm better for it. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. God bless.